So I'm presenting to the delegates on global equity income strategies. I guess why invest in equity income, why do it on a global basis, whether now is a good time, and also finally, why do it with Henderson. So I think there are a number of different reasons why now is the right time, or is an interesting time. One is we've seen a lot of yield compression in other asset classes as interest rates have fallen. Even this year we've got Spanish 10-year bonds at 3.5%, whereas the yield on my fund is 3.6%. The yield on equities globally is not out of line with the long-term history. So, from a yield point of view, they're still attractive. From an interest rate point of view, it's a very interesting time because we've got so many different dynamics going on. So the US look like they will have to raise interest rates in the next 2 years at some point. The growth is picking up there. The UK is in a similar position. I think Europe actually is probably in the other camp. It's looking more at quantitative easing. So for the first time in a while, we're going to get big economies moving in different ways. I've spoken a bit to delegates about what they've seen over the last few days. Certainly a big focus on Europe, which is reassuring. In the depths of 2011 and 2009, you maybe thought nobody would ever invest in Europe again. And you can see actually these things go in cycles. And it's a reminder to people, the thing that is hot and selling well right now is quite often the thing that a few years ago wouldn't have touched. So maybe at the moment it's right to look at emerging market equities or other parts of the world.
So did you already get asked some questions by the delegates?
Yeah, so there's a few questions out there. This question on interest rates is on people's minds. I think probably it's going to be a longer wait until rates start going up. I think most of the central banks and the governments really want to fight this current very low inflation. So I think until we've got a bit more inflation, we can worry about interest rates later.
So what do you expect from today, from the sessions?
Well, it'd be interesting to see whether European investors and the types of clients that the delegates have are interested in an equity income strategy. Traditionally, quite often European investors have been more sort of led towards bonds and bank assurance products. But with these very low rates, people are finding that a product, a 5-year bond or a 10-year bond that they bought 6 or 7 years ago that's coming up to mature, suddenly the rate that they're being offered is very, very low, and it's a bit of a shock. And so I think there's an interesting point for European investors who want income returns to see how their behaviour might or might not change. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see what sort of questions we get and where delegates might put a product like ours to help their clients enhance returns.
So just a final, more general question. What's your impression of the whole event so far?
Oh, it's a fantastic setup. The organisation has been wonderful. We had a great dinner last night in the Olympic Museum, which was fantastic, and the hotel and the views are wonderful. So it's very well done, and I very much enjoyed it.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.